This is the new Volvo V60 and it's a little bit like the Hollywood superstar Dwayne Johnson. Now let me explain. You see, the old V60 was a bit of a brick, or you could say a rock. However, recently it's had a massive image change and it's now much sharper and much more desirable. I mean, look at it. So it's a good looking car, isn't it? You've got those Thor hammer headlights, there's lots of chrome trim on this particular Inscription Pro version, although you can get an R design which looks sportier. You know, it's a nice car, bold creases, it stands out. Now, did you know that Dwayne Johnson is actually the highest paid actor in all of Hollywood? Now, you probably also didn't know that the new V60's starting price is slightly more than that of an Audi A4 Avant or a BMW 3 Series Touring, though you do get a bit more kit with it as standard. It starts from just under £32,000, though you can save £3,500 off one through CarWow. Now, if you click on the pop-out button in the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see how much you can save on a V60 or any new car for that matter at CarWow. One of the main reasons to have an estate car is, of course, for its practicality. And the boot capacity on this Volvo V60 is slightly more than that of its German rivals. And with this Inscription Pro version, you get hands-free tailgate opening, so it should open when I do that. It is a little bit temperamental. Come on. Ah, did it. You're never sure whether it is going to do it or not. The boot is nice and square in terms of the shape, so you can pack it full. Also, there's no load lip to lift stuff over. Got a little scuff plate there, so it's easy to just slide items in and out. It does help that the load height is quite low, so you're not going to hurt your back when you're filling it full of stuff. Then there's some neat features in here. You've got some storage area here with a net. There's a strap here, some solid tie down points as well. And you can upgrade it to have a 12-volt socket. That's part of the £500 convenience pack, which is a bit odd. They have to pay extra for a 12-volt socket, but it does include some other bits and pieces, such as this, a divider in the boot, which is handy. Now, these little things here are supposedly to hang shopping bags off, but I'm not convinced about them, because here's a shopping bag, right? Standard shopping bag. It's not really hanging it, is it? It's just kind of holding it maybe a little bit. Not perfect. Now, the convenience pack does also include this, look, electrically operated rear seats. So I just press a button and they fold down. Now, don't worry, if someone's sat there, the backs won't actually fold on top of them. There's a sensor to stop that happening. When you do fold them down, you've got a nice big flat low bay. You'll see it's very easy to just slide items all the way to the front like that. It's very, very useful. Now, I'm just going to pull this out because I want to show you something else. Shut this down. Now, all cars get a power tailgate. Like I said, it's just the Pro that has the hands-free operation. So, another good thing about the V60 is that the rear doors open nice and wide, which is handy because you're going to need to get your body behind putting the seats back because they're really, really heavy. It also makes it easy to get in and out if you're of a large disposition. Yeah. So, space back here. Now, that seat's in my usual driving position. I'm 179 centimetres tall, and I have got lots of knee room. Headroom's good as well, even though this car is fitted with the optional panoramic sunroof, which does reduce the headspace slightly, but it doesn't matter. People over 6'4" will be fine back here, and the seats are nice and comfortable as well. In terms of the middle seat, well, it is a little bit raised up, and you do have this big hump in the floor, but it's actually not too much of a problem. It is all right for carrying 3 people, even adults, abreast in the back at once. There are some other things I like about the back of this car. So, if you look down here, you can get it with climate control for the rear seats. Obviously, it's an optional upgrade. And you can get heated rear seats. The only problem with that is that you know that your children will end up playing that game on each other in the summer, where what they'll do is put the heated seat on when it's blisteringly hot to make their brother or sister start sweating. Yeah. If there's no one sitting in the middle seat, you can, of course, fold this down, and there's some extra storage here. Little tray here for what I would think is perfect for a mobile phone. Also, if you want to have a couple of drinks, then there's cup holders here as well. Now, another good thing about this car is the ISOFIX mounts, because they're easy to get to and they're under flip-up covers, so you won't be losing those covers. Now, for more detail, I want to start to fit a baby seat in here, or see what it's like with 3 people in the back and how much stuff you can carry in the car's boot. Click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen to watch my detailed practicality video. I'll just point out that the rear door bins are a decent enough size. You can fit an average size bottle in them. And then I can use this to illustrate that in the front they are considerably larger, with plenty of room for a much bigger bottle than this. In terms of the in-car storage, well, glove box is a decent size. This space under the armrest though isn't so large because for some reason there's a CD player in there. Who wants a CD player? Not me, and I'm sure not many people do either. Now in terms of the design, it's typical Volvo, so it's very simple. All looks very, very nice. Now as standard, all versions come with a digital driver's display. You also get stuff like cruise control, climate control, a full suite of safety systems such as auto emergency braking. It's pretty much got all that you need, the entry-level Momentum car, apart from one key thing, leather seats. If you want leather, you have to step up to the Momentum Pro or the Inscription. Speaking of which, the Inscription is available with these lovely driftwood. Sorry about that. These lovely driftwood inlays. They just add a touch of class to this car's cabin. In terms of the quality, most things you touch are very lovely and feel posh. Though there are a few bits and pieces which mean it doesn't feel quite as well put together as say something like a BMW 3 Series or an Audi A4 like this, look. So this thing just kind of slides backwards and forwards, and yeah, look. And it doesn't properly meet up either. Look at that, attention to detail is a bit lacking in that particular area. One thing I can't fault though is the fact that all cars come with this portrait style touchscreen. It's generally quite easy to use. You just swipe through the different menus. Not bad at all, you can get it with internet connectivity. One thing though, you have to pay extra for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which is a bit mean. And the system itself, it's okay to use when you're sat still, but when you're driving, some of the icons can feel a little bit small, so you're driving and then stabbing around at the screen, kind of a bit willy-nilly. Also, you have to operate the climate control through it. There's no physical dial to operate that, which can be a bit annoying. Now, for more information on this car's infotainment system and for another look around its cabin, click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand corner of the screen for my interior and infotainment video review.
Now then, it's time for the CarWow 5 annoying things about this car.
The gear selector on this automatic gearbox is so stiff that some people may have to use both hands to move it. Or if you're strong like me, you can just use it for a bicep workout. Yeah. The wiper for the rear window is just so small that it only manages to clear. Yeah, I've got a small portal for you to look through. The button for the sun blind can be a real pain because often when you press it, it's for some reason it opens the actual sunroof itself. It's a real knack to operate it correctly. I had this same system on the Volvo XC60 and it took me about 6 months to be able to open the blind. Yeah, like that, without it opening the roof. If you want to use the through loading, you can't open it here, which would be logical. You have to do a cheeky reach around to get the flap down. Another thing that's a bit annoying is the fact that if someone tries to lower this seat, if you look here, it still lowers my headrest. Ow, that really hurt. No, it didn't really, it's just a bit of a pain in the neck. There are certain practicality elements on this car which are supposed to be helpful, but are in fact not at all, like the load cover. Look, it's supposed to move up out the way so you can load easily, but then it's really hard to put back, and then it does that. It's really annoying. Also, there is nowhere to leave it in the car, so you have to just rest it in the boot and it takes up space. And the final thing is this is part of the convenience pack, no less, and it's like a net which stops things rolling around, but it's so confusing and tricky to fit. I can't even get out the blooming bag.
Thankfully, this car has plenty of cool features to help make up for all this. Here's 5.
These touchscreens can get well grubby with all the fingerprints. I mean, look at that. Blech. That's why Volvo gives you this handy cleaning cloth. Look. That's better. When it's dark, a little light under there illuminates the door pocket so you can see what's in there. If you don't have that feature on your car, you can always just use the torch on your mobile phone and stick it there. Perfect. You can get the car with a 3-pin plug socket, which is really handy if you've got a dead battery in your computer, because you can just plug it in, charge it up, look, it is charging, and then send your emails. The car's owner's manual is kept in a little lovely presentation box. Look at that. How luxurious. Volvo's got its premium game well lit. You can get the V60 with high definition, surround view cameras, which help make it easy to park in tight spaces. Also, the reversing camera has a rather useful zoom function. So yeah, an extreme close-up isn't great when you're my age. That's better. Let's start off with what this V60 is like to drive in town. So One of the good things about it is that the view out is very, very good. So nice big windscreen. These pillars are a bit fat, but the way they're positioned means there's not too much of a blind spot. The view out the back window is good as well, and you've got these extra rear quarter lights which are huge, which help when you're kind of like looking over your shoulder to pull out of junctions and stuff, or driveways. Now you can see for yourself by joining me for a point of view test drive video by clicking on the pop-out banner in the top right hand corner of the screen. One thing that isn't quite so great is the fact that the steering does feel quite slow. So you turn the wheel and the car doesn't turn that much. It means that when you're like going around mini roundabouts and stuff like that, you have to do quite a lot of wheel twirling. So low speed manoeuvres such as weaving around car parks can be a little bit frustrating at times. In terms of comfort levels, yeah, it's a Volvo, it's comfortable. Well, it is, so long as you don't go for large alloy wheels, because then the ride can feel a little bit firmer. And it is, so long as you don't go for the adaptive suspension. Now normally adaptive suspension actually improves things because you have a comfort mode, but for some reason on this car the comfort mode is a little bit firm and fidgety, whereas the normal car is fine. Put it into dynamic mode, which actually stiffens up the suspension, then it's downright disappointing for a Volvo. You know, these things are supposed to be comfortable. Speaking of which, when you get on the motorway, yeah, you're going to appreciate these lovely Volvo seats, especially if you have the inscription with the fine Napa leather. They are lovely. It's quite a relaxing cruiser as well. This car's got the acoustic glass, which is an upgrade, and it's supposed to improve the soundproofing, though when you're travelling at higher speed on the motorway, it never feels quite as quiet as an Audi A4 Avant. In terms of the engines, well, there's two diesels, a lower powered D3, but for £1,000 more you can get the D4, which is in this car, which is noticeably quicker. In fact, it feels rather quick indeed, and it should give good economy. Volvo says 60 miles per gallon. The trick computer says 47 miles per gallon, which is actually not bad at all. You can get a petrol version, but it's got 250 horsepower, so it's well fast, but you pay extra for that, and it's quite expensive to run. It's a bit thirsty. There will be a petrol plug-in hybrid in the future, but that's going to be quite expensive to buy. Now the engine itself, this D4 diesel, yeah, it's got plenty of power, like I say, but it can get a bit noisy when you rev it out, though it's not quite as noisy as the diesel engines you get in the Mercedes C-Class estate or the BMW 5 Series Touring. Though it doesn't feel quite as fast as those, but that doesn't matter. The biggest problem with this car though is the automatic gearbox that you can get with it, because it's just so slow to respond. So let's say you're just about to pull out of a roundabout, look, so you're coasting, then you put your foot down, and finally now we're going. And that can just leave you floundering. Thankfully you can get a manual if you want to, or you can change gears yourself using the selector, but it's not the greatest to use. Speaking of getting involved in the driving experience, what is the Volvo like should you encounter some corners? Well, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It doesn't feel quite as sporty as its German competitors, but does that really bother you? How are you going to drive? You know, if you just want to cruise around, this is more than adequate, and it will hold the road as well as you need it to. I mean, I'm going around the bend there at 60 miles an hour, which is the national speed limit. You've got to think about how you really get to drive in the real world. And for real world driving, this is a very nice car to be in. Now for more information and to see how much money you can save on a new Volvo V60, or any new car for that matter, click on the pop-out banner in the top right hand corner of the screen to go to carwow. So then, my verdict on this new V60, should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the V60. It's really nice, premium feeling, practical family car. Who needs an SUV when you can have an estate as cool as this?
If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment on it and share it. Also click on our logo to subscribe to this channel. If you click on the bottom right hand corner, you can actually watch more of our content. Meanwhile, click over to the right to go to our deals page to see how much money you can save on a new car at carwow. Now, did you spot the Easter egg in this video? It was a song called Feel It Like It by a band called the D4 on the car stereo. D4, of course, relating to this car's engine name.